What's up, everybody? Jed Johnson here from DieselCrew.com. Of course, you know they call me Napalm. And this is day 5 of 31 days of Q&A. And today's question comes from Zach Mullins. And this actually came up in a Instagram story where I asked people for questions and then I never ended up answering it. But I logged it. So we're going to cover it right now. Of course, you know Zach does the Grip Show, interviews great guests, does recaps of contests, and even recently he reviewed my ebook, Lift the Blob, Even If You Have Small Hands. So I'll put a description box, or I'll put a link in the description box for that episode of the Grip Show, as well as a link to that ebook. If you're training for blobs, you need that ebook. All right, so the question is, who is one person you've never beat in competition that you would like to lift against today? Well, there's one answer. There's one name that comes to mind immediately, and then another one that I'll throw in there as a bonus. So as far as I know, I was never able to beat Chad Woodall in a grip competition. Chad Woodall was, for several years, the absolute best, #1, top competitor in all of grip sport. This is going back from 2005 to like 2010-11, and then he stopped competing. I believe what happened was he started a family and just quit leaving the house. So, you know, no problem, more power to him. It was always a goal to beat Chad. At that time, Andrew Durniat was right there with him. Andrew eventually got past Chad, but Chad was the best all-around grip competitor for years. And it would have been cool to have gotten a good victory over him. Most recently, I think it was King Kong 2019. I think he was considering coming up from Georgia and competing at that King Kong, didn't end up making the trip. So I think that would have been a good showdown, would have been a good test, and it would have made me really compete at my top level. And in order to beat him, it would have required me to do well at all 4 events. And both events were pretty strong for me that year. So I don't know what I finished, and I have no idea what he would have finished because he didn't come. But that would have been cool. That would have been definitely, you know, he was somebody I was looking at as my main competition for years. The other one that I would throw out there would have been cool if Steve McGranahan would have continued to compete. As I recall, he got injured. My cat is trying to knock over the Christmas tree in the gym. As I recall, Steve got injured and stopped competing, and then started doing his strongman performances full time. So that took away his ability to compete. And Steve won the first contest that I ever went to, Battle for Grip Supremacy, back in September of 2003. So if we go all the way back to the beginning, Steve was at the top for a time. I believe he's closed #4s in the past, and was very well rounded, very strong dude. He beat Rob Vigent at that contest, but eventually I ended up beating Rob Vigent in competitions, if I remember correctly. That may not be true. Actually, I don't think I ever beat Rob Vigent either. I think today I would beat Rob Vigent. I think today I would beat Steve McGranahan. And this is assuming, like, if Steve would have stayed on his trajectory, if Rob would have stayed on his trajectory, and if I would have stayed on my trajectory, I think I would be able to beat those guys. There's still a question in my mind if things would have stayed on Chad's trajectory the way that they were going, whether I'd be at his level today. It's hard to tell. I think I'm definitely much better at pinch, thick bar, medleys, wrist stuff, things along those lines. Grippers these days, I'm way down from 30 pounds down from where I was. But yeah, whenever I'm asked that question, it's always Chad Woodall. And it'd be cool if Steve would get back into competitions. There were a lot of guys that beat me at that first contest. Dave Morton, Tommy Heslop, Dan Senadoza, they all finished ahead of me. I think I was in 6th or 7th. All those guys were ahead of me in the contest. Eventually started beating Dan Senadoza real easy. That was the Christmas tree. Tommy Heslop ended up getting injured with tendonitis real bad. He stopped competing. So, but there's still those 2 or 3 names that were really good and would have been cool to continue to face them. That's the thing about grip. A lot of guys get in, they're very strong, and they don't stick with it. It's not something that they want to dedicate years and years to, and that's fine. But because I've seen so many people come into grip and leave, this year I really tried to improve my communication about contests that are going on and developments in the sport so that more people can know. So I started a dedicated newsletter just for grip competitors. So if you're not on that newsletter and you'd like to be, get a hold of me with an email, jed.diesel@gmail.com, and that's 2 D's in Jed, jedd.diesel@gmail.com. If you'd want to get on that newsletter, I don't market to that newsletter. I only send emails related to grip sport, contests, developments, nationals, things along those lines, rankings. So there's a lot of information. I send that out every Thursday at 3 p.m. So like I said, get a hold of me if you'd like to be on there. I think it's helping to grow the sport. I think it's helping to communicate better to the athletes, and hopefully it helps the top level competitors and all competitors. Hopefully it helps all of them stay in grip for a longer amount of time. It's growing. There's more contests all the time. I swear, like every week there's another contest added to the schedule. So let me know. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. Enough rambling. If you liked it, give it one of these. Be sure to subscribe. Leave your questions in the comments section. All the best in your training.